Here today, I'm in Homosassa, Florida, and I'm dropping my truck off for service at Eagle GMC. Now, in today's episode, we are headed over to Stuart, Florida to meet with Mike Kirkhart. He's a marine reproduction artist, and I tell you, he will blow your mind with his detail on all the art that he does. You're not going to want to miss this episode. And every Tidewater Diaries adventure starts right here in Citrus County. Let's go. Today on the Tidewater Diaries, we're going to meet a really good friend of mine. He owns New Wave Taxidermy. His name, Mike Kirkhart, and he is the king of fish reproduction. And if you don't know what that is, I'm about to show you. Mike.
Hey, CA. Good to see you again.
Man, I appreciate you taking time to be on the Tidewater Diaries today. I'm going to tell my audience, this is the place where memories are reborn. They truly are. And look at this piece here. This, is that an angel shark?
Actually, that's what we call white-spotted guitar fish. But I said the same thing when I first saw it, that it was an angel shark, but in fact, it
looks like it's alive. You can see the wrinkles in the shark's skin.
Isn't that cool?
It is so cool.
Reproductions, that's the beauty of opportunity to capture all that kind of stuff, details that typically are lost in stretched skins.
And you are the best at it. You are the king. And today,
Thank
I've
you.
got a diary full of questions. So
Oh, okay.
We'll have a seat.
Yeah.
Get right after it.
Okay, yeah.
I tell you, this place, when I said that statement, this is the place memories are reborn, it truly is. Just walking through the shop there and looking at all the molds and all the finished products that are being ready to be boxed up, I'm telling you, this place is amazing. It is truly amazing. It starts every conversation at my house. I mean, I have three of your mounts now, one in my studio, one in my living room, one in the game room. And people see it and they're like, wow, that is an amazing mount. Who caught it? And it gets the conversation going. And then we start talking about it. And it is just, it's magic. It gives me the opportunity to relive the whole fish catch and everything all over again.
Well, it is the joy of what I get to do, is to help people revitalize their memory of that great fish and, the excitement that it is in fishing. When did
all of this get started? At what age did you know? Because, I mean, people don't know. People know the Kirkhart name here in Martin County.
Okay.
And they know that's New Wave Taxidermy. And if you talk to anyone here, they know who you are. But there are places far, far away, like where this one's going. This one's going overseas.
Yeah.
And there are just so many places where your stuff shows up and you're like, that's a New Wave Taxidermy piece, and everyone can tell immediately because there's no one that's even close to being able to do this type of detail. But when did you realize you were that guy?
Well, so I believe as an artist that, when we start out, or at least when I started out, that I had to develop a technique that would ultimately lead to a style.
Mm-hmm.
And in the early days, it was difficult because the style was already determined.
Mm-hmm.
The old banana-shaped fish.
That's
'Cause
right.
I started
all the poses were the same.
Yeah, oh yeah, 1977 I began, and I did full spectrum of taxidermy, so I did everything, but I realized quickly that fish was my forte and what I believe God designed me to do as far as an artist. So, and the first thing I wanted to do was change some of the old, boring, traditional
poses.
They were mounts, they
Yeah.
were mounts. I wanted my fish to look like they were real, like they were alive, and not that, I could ever actually capture the incredibleness of a live fish, but that
You're
was my
close.
goal. Well,
You were close.
well, thank you.
I'll tell you what, it's like these fish are wet. Their eyes are bright. You can almost, I swear to God, there's sometimes I'll tell you that it looks like a gill plate moves on them at the house. It's just that, the realism is just unbelievable. I tell everyone, I was like, I don't know what he charges, but whatever it's worth it. It's like, because and it lasts forever. It lasts forever. And this is a family business. It's just not you.
Nope.
You've got Deb, your wife, involved. You've got your 2 children. You got Nikki and Buddy involved. And I met Mark the last couple of times I've been here. He seems like an adopted kid to you.
He is.
You have a good group here, and you
Yeah.
guys do just amazing work. It's like you can't take your eyes off it.
Yeah. And our latest guy, Ricky, he's fitting right in. Yeah, they're working together really well. And Buddy, of course, Buddy's fishing now more and more. So
I know
somebody's got to fish, right? Everybody can't make fish. Somebody's got to go out there and catch some fish.
Now you have won so many awards and accolades, and these aren't things that the public outside of big game fish guys would really know about. I mean, you're a world champion in this genre.
Yeah.
I mean, and you've sat on boards, and you've been a judge at some of the biggest events where you guys have big trade shows. But what are some of the world champion awards that you've won?
Oh, well, so, keep in mind, I was a young man then, striving to become, recognized. And of course, inside, I wanted to arrive at some level that said I accepted where I was going. So my competition efforts was to self-improve. They say that's the truth about golfers. If you're really playing, right, you're playing against yourself.
That's right.
So I did the same thing with this work, and I just kept trying to do new and innovative things. And I was a young man, with a young family, and I worked a zillion hours, and we did shows, and it was a big part of what we did. And so at some point, I was fortunate that somebody out there thought my work rated the best of the bunch and gave me these awards. And of course, that helped build my reputation, esteem, momentum. And but yeah, I enjoyed world championships, some national stuff, certainly state level things. But then I decided it's time to give back, and I became the president of the National Association and served there, and then served a lot as a judge, where you would work and help other young guys in particular, and gals, grow in their skill and ability by suggesting maybe some changes that they might make and to better present, the end result.
For me, when I look at these pieces, and I have watched you work, I have seen how you paint, and you really, you see a photograph of the angler holding the fish, or the billfish comes up alongside the transom of the boat or the corner of the boat, but so much of this is just intuitive style that it's almost like you must study the anatomy of these fish.
I do.
Through books and things like that, because I mean, it's too perfect. I mean, that is so perfect. I would almost defy nature to build one as nice as this one.
Thank you. Well, it's flattery. I appreciate it. But yeah, that's exactly right. Ever since I was a wee little kid, all I wanted to do was study wildlife. At an early age, 8 years old, I really knew this is what I wanted to do.
Really?
Yeah.
8 years old?
And my parents were awesome, and they guided me along and got me taxidermy books. I had a school teacher that did the same thing once they discovered that was my fascination. And so I've never turned back. So every day in here still, Now I'm 66 years old, be 67 next year. I still wake up in the morning with anticipation of what I'm going to get to do.
Yeah.
You know, as opposed to I have to go to work. So I still very much am excited.
As someone like me who has a great familiarity with your family, Buddy, and especially his boys, they seem a lot like you.
Yeah.
I mean, the attention to detail. His one son is just amazing. I mean, that you talk to him and you cannot believe that kid is a little kid. He sounds like a little man.
Yeah, yeah.
And Buddy is so articulate about not only the fishing but the business here. But to get that next jump to the first level of DNA from Mike Kirkhart, I mean, that painting ability of yours, it's different than the molds. It's different than setting eyes and throats and gills. And I mean, that's a skill too. But this is what changes it all.
Well, certainly the end result is viewed, you know, probably 90% of what people see as color, detail, airbrush work and painting work. But all of the other things, and you mentioned them, are really key mold building. Certainly the shape that you try to arrive, like this piece. I really wanted this creature kind of drifting, gliding.
He's gliding right over this reef.
Yeah. And so, you know, it starts at the mold building. You have to actually see it at this stage in the beginning.
Right. You have to visualize it.
That's right.
So,
and all the steps in between where the guys are working on it, Buddy included.
Yeah.
That's all. I mean, Buddy's the master that finished this.
Yes.
He puts all of the, you know, fine detail together, makes everything balanced. And then I do the color work. So I mold, my guys cast, Buddy assembles. We're really a team.
You sure are. And just even the reef scene.
Yeah, my wife helped me with this, and my oldest son, who's, you know, helpful on some of this stuff too. He was involved in all this. Is everything you see is made. Everything. I mean, we even built the base. We even built the pedestal. We just
How
want
many
to.
man hours is
this is 2 years of work.
2 years of work.
2 solid years of work.
I'm not even going to ask you what this costs, because it's probably too much to say. But that is just... So let me ask you this. Where are some of the places, whether they be Florida or outside, even outside the U.S., that you know where some of your products are?
Well, so
your creations,
Bass Pro Shops would probably be the most popular of the places. Even Wonders of Wildlife, which is the most recent, you know, development that John did and allows the public obviously to come into. So, you know, we did a lot of fish for John back in the earlier days when he was building Bass Pro stores left and right. So we did a lot of that. So a lot of my work is there. I worked with the great artist Donald Lipsky, and he's a contemporary conceptual artist. He comes up with these ideas. So in Miami International Airport in the International Concourse D, actually, we did all these, what looked like, he called them constellations. So I would make all these fish and they'd be arranged in geometric shapes. They're beautiful. That's in Miami. And
are they suspending, or?
They're attached to the walls in that one area in particular. But it's
I try to avoid that airport.
Really cool. Well, I mean, if you've traveled internationally, like go South America, you're going to see that. You know, if you pay attention.
Yeah. So I did a little research, because as much as I'm familiar with you and some of your customers, actually, because I've sent some of my regular clientele, I was like, you caught this personal best, you must go to New Wave Taxidermy and have it done.
Thank you.
I go, whatever it takes, make sure it gets on the schedule. But I saw that you had the 327-pound world record alligator gar that you did.
Yeah.
And I looked at the piece online and I was like, it looks like a sea monster. Yeah. And speaking of monsters, you actually had,
Jeremy Wade?
Jeremy Wade here from River Monsters.
Yeah, he wanted to see it. Pretty special, pretty cool critter. Yeah, the state of Mississippi actually commissioned me
to do that.
To do it. The angler, Kenny Williams, caught it. And from what I understand, they caught it in a net. Thought it was dead because it'd been overnight. The fish didn't move, loaded it up, got it back to the boat or to the ground, and of course realized that it's quite the creature. And so one thing led to another. Yeah, the state commissioned us to do. I did both the skin mount, which is the last skin mount I ever did.
Right.
And then I did a reproduction of it, certainly, so we could duplicate it again for anybody that wanted it.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Did you do an albino dolphin?
Well, so I refinished one, and that was the
Snowball? Or?
porpoise, that's correct, called Snowball. It was caught off, I believe, the Carolina coast back in the 60s, back when they were doing SeaWorld and, you know, the Miami Aquarium, Seaquarium, stuff like that.
I remember going there as a child because my dad worked in Miami quite a bit. Wow.
Yeah, yeah. That was cool. That was a really well done mount too.
Yeah.
I think it originally was done by one of the great artists of that era.
And something, you know, you mentioned earlier, you said, I don't do animals and birds anymore, but I see how you compose some of the scenes, like some of your best pieces that are in behind the door over there in the office. Some of your best stuff is where you have mangroves and a shypoke, a green heron, and you have mullet moving through the mangrove roots, and you have a snook rolling up, and the one with the giant trevally.
Oh, a GT piece.
Trying to eat a bird.
Yeah, we did that off of the Blue Planet 2 video where, you know, that showed it off the Seychelles where those fledgling birds would come off their nest and learn to fly, and these GTs would move in that time frame. And I just couldn't resist as an artist. I said, I want to do that. I have some big GT molds, so I thought, well, let's make that piece. So kind of as an artist, I like to do stuff that's fun.
I mean, just
carve the bird. The birds are carved.
Oh, I know, and I see these things. I mean, you even do. I mean, here you have reef fish, snappers and wrasses and things like that. But I see some of the bait fish that you do, just the shad or the pinfish or the mullet, and you put just as much effort and detail in those miniature fish as you do the giant piece that is the focus of the whole composition. And I think that's what everyone really appreciates about Mike Kirkhart and New Wave Taxidermy is the fact that you do not cut corners, man.
Well, and certainly one of the great mottos I believe God wants us to follow is even in the smallest details, it is all important what we do and how we do these things. So.
You are definitely a cross the T, dot the I gentleman.
Thank you.
You are a gentleman. Now, I know there's a sister piece to this that you talked about. I would love to see that. And then, you know, I think it would be kind of cool to really walk through the whole shop and see the molds and maybe see what the guys do as far as the mouth. You know, you see a mount in a restaurant and it just looks like a piece of plastic that was painted kind of okay. But your stuff looks like an actual fish. And there are some differences, and it would be fun to show our audience what you guys are all about.
I have no secrets. I show everything that we have, so I love
you work so
sharing.
hard, you don't have to share secrets because no one's going to go to that. No one's going to go to that measure. For everyone who is the best at what they do, it's not work. It's a love. It's a passion. I see it in every walk of life, with doctors, with guys like yourself, with tradesmen that will build cabinets for you. My son, who does all of this production work, every detail, it's like shoot it again, shoot it again, build it again, build it again. It's just because your name's on it. You're proud of it. You want it. You want people to talk about it. And for you, at this point in your career, mission accomplished.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah,
mission accomplished.
Some of what I'm starting to look at too is the consideration. People keep pushing me, when are you going to retire?
Yeah.
And where the idea of retirement sounds like you're going to take a break.
Yeah.
I can't imagine giving up what I really truly believe I'm supposed to do. So what would I do? That's why I see most of these sports figures and vocalists, singers, musicians that say I'm retiring, and then they come back a year later because they're not cut out.
I see.
They're made to do this.
They're made to do that, and it's part of them. It makes them happy.
Yeah.
I can't. It'd be such a drop off to the next level. I just can't imagine you never doing this.
Well, I can't either, and so that's why I continue.
I'll be your biggest.
Me and an airbrush are we're pals,
Well, let's go check out that other piece.
Okay.
I would love to see that piece.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So Mike This looks like the sister piece.
Yep, yep. Want to take the cover off?
Sure. Oh, good Lord, that is beautiful.
Here, take it all the way off, because this backside's just as pretty as...
Oh, it sure is. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. You got fish feeding off the barnacles on the back.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like you're there.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing this piece needs is we need to be underwater. That's it.
Yeah.
We just need to be underwater.
Yeah.
I mean, you have thought of every detail, that looks like some type of
Goby.
goby.
Mm-hmm. It's all fabricated. It's all out of structural foam and materials that, it took me...
Man, how many man hours?
Oh, no. Can't even
imagine.
No, I can't count hours. If I did,
You'd quit?
well, you'd be out of your mind anyway, It's like, holy smokes. But, it's just so again, this is another one of those, like, 2 years.
2 years.
2-year projects.
One in a lifetime piece.
Oh, yeah.
Never going to see another one.
Oh, no, there'll never be another one like
this. This is it.
This is a one of a kind, 100%.
And this guy will literally give this to his kid's kid. It'll just keep going. So this piece will literally live like a work of art in the Louvre.
Oh, well, I don't know about that. But it'll be, somebody hopefully will enjoy it. Absolutely.
Good.
That's the idea. So, yeah, it's one of the great things about fiberglass. That's what we make everything out of, is fiberglass. It's got a very, very long life, obviously, And if it's indoors, it's even longer. Probably the weakest point would be the colors that eventually will fade, right? But,
I mean, you can see every scale.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like
Spent a ton of time on it.
this is like a Goliath grouper, I would imagine, in the
Real
Pacific.
similar.
I keep waiting for him to come out here and bump me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I'll tell you what, it's an impressive piece.
Oh,
it is
thanks.
an absolutely impressive piece. I can't imagine anyone being disappointed when this shows up on the dock and they get to open the crate and look at it. They're going to be blown away.
Yeah.
They're going to be blown away.
Well, and that's the idea, right? If
Your reputation has carried across the globe to get some guy to commission you to do a piece this expensive and work on it for 2 years, and he's patient enough.
Yeah,
That's incredible.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't know too many anybody's that would be capable of doing anything on this scale. Well, I'm looking at the mold room up there, where I know, because I've been here previously for not only pieces for myself, but when we've shot with Buddy, your son, for FlatsClass Television, I've been up in that room. It's amazing. It is an amazing room. Can we go up there?
Yeah, oh yeah, we even cleaned it. We've cleaned it since probably you were here last. A little tidier, so we can find stuff.
It's like Madame Tussauds Wax Museum up there. I mean, it's like you go up there and it's like there's every size of every fish, and someone can catch a fish, take a photograph,
right,
go up there and pick what's the closest to it or almost exact, and that's where the fun begins.
That's right. That's right.
I haven't been up here in a couple of years.
Yeah,
but it's just as I remember it. It is a fish closet.
Yeah.
Every size, every shape, every species, but I don't see any of the freshwater.
Oh yeah, they're actually through the doorway there on the other side. That and my big sailfish and some of the other exotics.
just the snook and the tarpon and the flounder. Gosh, some of these flounders are incredible. Some of the most moray eels I'm seeing, yellowtail snappers.
What's the size of that snook? Yeah, it's 45 on the front, 49 on the back.
Man.
Of course, we got the world record, the all tackle.
And then you've got every pose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, open mouth, open gill, closed mouth. I really like the closed mouth, closed gill, because that's how I see snook on the bottom, when you're actually fishing for them. They're just so beautiful. I got their very unique shape.
And I mean, I can see everything, pacus and everything in there.
Yeah.
Let's go check that out.
Yeah, cool, yeah.
The hitter's a little low there. Yeah.
It's
This is coho salmon,
rainbow trout, brown,
Yeah, it looks like shell crackers
Yeah.
over there, bowfins.
largemouth, of course.
Oh man, I mean
Smallmouth
just
bass.
everything you can imagine. Big giant catfish.
All the-
Catfish, that's cool. Salmon.
Sailfish. I've
And
got
you got your bill. You got
Yeah,
a lot
I've
of more of the billfish over
three
here.
different ways that we do sailfish. You know, kind of fun.
And as cool as all of this is, my favorite part is the airbrushing.
Oh yeah.
When you, just because there's no one that visualizes it, and the way your brain and your eyes see things and it goes to your hand and how fast it happens blows my mind. Can we still do that?
Yeah.
You want to do that?
Yeah.
Let's do that. I think our audience would love to see something
Okay.
like that.
Yeah. Let's paint a fish.
Yeah, let's
See what we
paint,
can
let's
do.
paint one in the down there in the paint room. Well, this is an interesting piece, and it again has the Mike Kirkhart signature of looking alive. I mean, even look at the translucency in the fins.
Well.
That's crazy how
Yeah.
accurate this is.
Yeah. We enjoyed making stuff that looks like a real fish.
Oh,
Inside the
even the
inside his
mouth. I mean, most of these are shut down right there. You don't see anything. I mean, this looks, and the gills.
I mean, you know, you're worried about details
Yeah, that's, yeah.
when
hey,
you do the
hey,
vent.
yeah.
They call it.
Is that what we're
be
calling
polite.
those these
Yeah,
days?
be polite.
Is that the new name?
Be polite. But yeah, some of the things that I like to do, you know, on these fish are like enhancements of little fine
Highlights.
details. Yeah. So this is a gold, and it's kind of a solution that I make up, and then I go down through there and I will actually hit each scale. We call it gold tipping. And I have to stop or start at the top, right?
Mm-hmm.
Work my way back and down, and I like to do typically 2 rows at once, and I try to hit each scale just a little, not too much, you know. And there's some variation. They're not all exactly the same. I don't want them painted; they'll look fake.
Yeah, you don't want it to look produced.
So, but
It's one of a kind.
yeah, I mix the formula so it doesn't dry instantly, and I typically put it on top of the fish once I've got all my colors.
So how close to the actual fish is the reproduction if someone sends you one, there's like a little imperfection? It's like this one's got a clipped fin, you know, or something like that. How close can you make it?
Well, people send us photos. That's what they do, and the uniqueness of their fish may be that it has some sort of, you know, split in the fin, which is typically it's where a fish has been, say, netted or some sort of injury, and you know, or shark bite or something. And we do some enhancements for people because what it is, it's all about this being their fish, even though the fish they let go
Right.
is still swimming, which is the great part of the conservation side of what we do.
Exactly.
They get a reproduction that's like it, and maybe because I use my iPad and paint accordingly to make it look as much as I can like their fish.
Right.
And then, you know, so they're getting kind of like a
Well, when I walked in today to the plant, I first came in, I was telling the audience, I was like, listen, this guy is a fish reproduction specialist. He makes it where you can relive the moment as many times as you want.
Well, and that's certainly the goal. You
Yeah.
know, somebody catches a great fish. I think my favorite clients are little kids who catch a fish and their grandpa, their dad, their mom.
Is allowing it to be reproduced.
And, you know, we're getting to make a fish for a little kid that one day is going to look back and remember all that stuff they did with whoever's
That's
special.
right. That's right.
And that fish will represent that. So
That's amazing.
that's cool.
Well, once you get the finishing touches on this, why don't we go grab a bite to eat today?
Okay.
And I can't thank you enough for sharing this stuff, because I feel like sometimes I'm almost revealing trade secrets of yours that separate you from all the rest of this business.
Well, I'm glad to share. I'm glad to have you. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, well,
I hope
I mean,
everybody enjoys it.
Your stuff is special to us. And I'll have another order for you. I guarantee you.
Okay.
A
Hey, you ought
tarpon
to go fishing. You ought to try it.
Well, we'll head out. We'll go get something to eat.
Awesome.
Appreciate you, man. You're the best.
Appreciate
You
you.
really are the best.
Thank you.